It's your own fault. It's just
Yeah.
something I learned the hard way. But some of the stuff I haven't gone through like you guys have. But a lot of the stuff I have, but I learned by it. I try not to pity
I, I
myself for it.
I think if you remain open-minded about things and not let like one bad experience get you too much, you can certainly learn from it, and at least then you're aware of how these things happen and how they can spiral out of control very easily,
Hmm.
which
Well,
you don't
again,
want that to happen either, you know.
DJ, me and you are exactly alike. When you say body and everybody else say eyes, check out things. I know it in my hips. Oh yeah, I'm like you. I got that ability. I've had it. I really have, and it's helped me out quite a bit, just like you. It has you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh,
in my life, I've been through like so much. It's like when Sean was saying about like the suicide part. I mean, mine didn't happen until a bit later on, but no, a really bad thing happened to me when I was 17, and that is the first time where I've really thought about doing it. And I was at that point, and it wasn't like an actual person, stopping me. It was an actual voice that I recognized from my family. I don't know where it come from, but when I was in hospital, my heart stopped. It was the same voice that I heard, which is a really weird thing, I know, but
no, no, I've been there. I've been there.
it
I've been
obviously
there.
wasn't my time. And ever since when I've been in trouble or been in a bad place, it's either been that voice or another member of my family that have guided me away from that situation
I can
because
understand it. I
cause it wasn't my time.
basically I had the same situation you had, except it wasn't like a death situation. When I was a kid, I was raised with guns all my life, and I had a 22, and I was out in the woods, and I was aiming at a little bird. I mean, it was far away. I wanted to see if I could hit it. I was a good shot then, and I was
Okay.
aiming the bird with my 22. I was just ready to start pulling the trigger, and a voice behind me says, "Why would you want to kill that bird for?" And I stopped. It just dumbfounded me. I turned around. Nobody was there. Scared the daylights out of me. I was 13 years old. I ran home to and I mean, I didn't go in the woods for a while. It scared the daylights out of me. But I never told anybody about it because I didn't think they, would believe me. So I just let it go. But yeah, it's true.
Um,
It was.
James is asking in the chat. He asks because he
Oh,
gets mad very easily, and sometimes he doesn't know why. But I basically was saying, well, what starts off the anger in the first place? It's got to be something that starts you off. If you sort of like think back of how replay it in your head.
okay.
I'm saying if you do
Uh,
replay over in your head and work out where about the point was where we started to lose it, then you can work out a lot easier on what's going on with you and try and work on it like that. I don't know.
don't
It may work for you. I don't know.
don't let words hurt you for one thing. Don't let people bully you. If you're right about something, just walk away. You're a better man for it. Don't let people intimidate you.
Well,
That's the
there'll
worst
be
thing.
loads of people that will try and do that, and
Hmm.
there'll be lots of people out there that will try and press your buttons. Ignore them.
Yeah, ignore 'em. And like she said, DJ, just think about what you did before. And if you could have walked away from it, do it. If a man touches you, that's a different story. You just let him have it as hard as you can. But for words, intimidation, just walk away. Believe me, it works. Never
But
get yourself in a
always,
situation you can't get yourself out of. What's that,
always
DJ?
remember though, there's always a bigger person out there. So violence begets violence. So it's
Correct.
always better to not get yourself in that predicament to begin with. Because you never know like whether a person's carrying something that can hurt you or anything like that, especially being in America as well because of there's nothing against Americans here, but
Oh, I've got no problem
your
with that.
weapons laws are a lot different to say ours.
We got to have them here. We do. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. If they took our guns away, the only ones that have it would be the criminals. And they
Well,
would.
and obviously the cops.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But that's the only thing I can say. And DJ's right about what she says too. It's true. It's just I'd rather be called a coward and walk away. Now, if they want to test me on it, touch me, then we'll see something. But I'm not going to sit there and argue and bicker back and forth.
Actually, it makes you a bigger man to walk away. In my personal experience, you right there, Sean?
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. I was trying to listen in on another device. I know I went on a little bit long, and I got
No,
up as far
it's
as
okay. It's okay.
I I I didn't go into detail, but I'm not going to go into detail because there's
I wouldn't
much more.
expect you to.
But
Well,
like,
go on.
go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
I
Go
just,
ahead.
I was just going to say, did you learn by it? That's all. You know, did you learn? Not that.
I did and I didn't.
And I think you're still continuing to learn if what I'm getting from you is right.
Is
Because you never stop learning from your past experiences because it makes you a better person for the
I
future
know
and for
I
other
know
people.
as Vic said, like with youth, well, without actually being in that field or profession, I actually have no qualifications to my name. I actually
No,
haven't got any.
but you actually have street qualifications, which are just as important as educational ones because you have a different kind
I
of education, which
I agree
youngsters
with
would
you.
understand.
No, I was just gonna say I did hear you saying, while I was waiting for the device to fix itself, that yeah, I can honestly put my hands up and say that I have saved people's lives,
Hmm.
and I have saved a lot of heartache as well. Both from people having to endure um, physical suffering and mental suffering. You know, I'm not proud of some of the things I've done.
Of
Some of
course
the
not.
things, to be honest with you, I'm not going to lie. There was once or twice that I physically had to cry myself to sleep, and I was inconsolable. You know, my wife couldn't understand because I didn't express myself. You know, I'll talk and stuff. You know, like obviously you can tell I'm a naturally gifted talker, but
Hmm.
for like some of the stuff that I disclosed there, like on the live just a couple of minutes ago, or that
Yeah.
it took me years to come out and say. It took me like I hid that for years, and then it took me years to come out and say it to my wife, and you know, I just
It
Get
is difficult because these kinds of things are deeply ingrained within yourself and all of that, and it makes you feel embarrassed to be who you are, and it makes you feel that others are going to judge you in the way you've been judged before. But not everybody is the same. Not everybody's going to take that view, and not everybody's going to attack you for it. A lot of people would understand it or try to understand it and embrace you for it, and that's important too.
Guinness.
unfortunately, sorry to cut across you, but
No, no, you didn't. I didn't think. I just want to know. Your wife loves you. You love your wife, don't you?
yeah, I do, yeah.
Well, there you go.
and
That's a
and
start.
and you do have friends on here as well that do understand you, believe it or not. I understand you very well, and
I I just basically the house I got, everybody was welcome. 6 people showed up. They came to murder 2 other associates of not only mine but theirs. Unfortunately, they weren't in the house, so instead they tried to kill me. Um, they quite literally cut pieces of my body off me. Um, I got out of there alive. That was another thing. Tried to commit suicide by hanging myself. Less than 12 months later, was walking down a dark country road and a vehicle came towards me, and I deliberately chucked myself out in front of it. I was in car crashes. I was shot at. I tried to overdose. Another incident, I was trying to settle a dispute between two people, and the guy that was on one side, like I was cool with both sides, but he took it into his head that he basically was going to punish me for, well, not getting involved, but I basically put it to him. I said, like, look, this happened and this could happen. So I've been speaking to the other side, and I'm speaking to you now. I'm being quite openly and honest with you. It's better if it just stays the way it is. And he agreed. I turned to walk away. He hit me twice with an axe over the head. I looked behind me, and he had a what you'd call in America a box cutter or a carpet blade in the UK in one
A
hand, and
Stanley
axe,
knife.
Stanley knife. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had an axe and a Stanley knife or a box cutter or whatever you want to call it. I tried to run, and I fell on my knees, and he stood above me, and his mother of his kids said, hit him with it again, knock his fucking brains out. So he struck me 2 more times. Unbeknownst to me, he tried to cut my spinal cord with the Stanley, but he cut my jacket instead. He tried to cut my Achilles heel on my left leg, but he cut my calf instead. And then he took the axe, I believe, because it happened so sudden, under his armpit and pulled my head back using my hair and I seen the Stanley blade coming towards my throat, and I put my hand up in order to block it, and he sliced my hand across my thumb and 3 fingers down to the bone.
Ouch.
Yeah, so a lot of things. I believe, like, I coming back to the point, like, I am slowly but surely. Well, I do believe, yeah. I just lack the confidence. I do lack the confidence to, choose something, choose a path, and just follow it. And
You are already on the path, believe it or not.
I'll be right back, guys. I got to do something. Hold on.
Okay, right. I literally do believe you are on the path, and it's the right one because you are getting better within yourself.
well, I hope so, Vix, because, like you said, with the life experience that I've had, maybe I might be able to save somebody else from going through it.
Of course.
Or be able to teach, like, for instance, like, not only traveling youths, but impoverished youths, or youths that are on the fringes of society, not to fall for those pitfalls in life.
This is what I was trying to say to Rights, because you've been through it. You'd be able to see it in others very clear. It'd be like a beacon. You'd be able to pick up on it and hone in on it because you've been through it. Similar things with me, like I can with other people, because I've been through it, and I can see it in others too. And it's just one of those things where we have been through dark shit. We can actually see it in others, so we can help them. And I think that's what we probably put on this earth to do. I don't know. That's the way I see things. It hasn't done me wrong yet.
Well, I'm trying to change my life.
Well,
It is
I think you
difficult.
have.
Oh, I have changed it dramatically, Vix. From the
Yeah.
moment I told my wife, and it was, I can tell you the dates, the times, quite literally. I can tell you the moment of first contact to the moment I first, like, we contacted each other through Facebook. I can tell you
Remember
to,
you telling me this, and I think it's a beautiful story in that. And
quite literally, I know exactly. It was on the 28th of November 2011 at 10:15 p.m. I was on the internet, and I had no intentions for a long-term relationship or marriage. Um, and I seen her come up as a friend suggestion, and I looked at her photo, and it was something in her eyes, just something in
oh,
her eyes, just screamed out at me. So I put in a friend request, and I won't lie, I went on continuing, texting people and messaging and looking at photos and whatnot. And 13 minutes later, uh, she accepted the friend request, and I immediately sent a message saying, "Thanks for the ad," and she said, "No problem." And then she turned around and said to me, "Are you so and so's brother?" And I was like, "How does she know that?" And I said, "Yeah, I am, but like, how do you know that?" And she said to me, "You knew exactly what you were doing when you added me, yeah?" And I was like, what? Where's this come from?" But I didn't know that, although we didn't know each other existed, my brother and her brother were friends. Okay. Um.
okay. So she actually thought you knew, but you didn't know. Right, I get you.
So we spoke from approximately 10:30 p.m. on the 28th of November 2011 for 12 straight hours until 10:30 a.m. roughly the next morning. Um, I remember in those 12 hours, I sent her 386 messages, and
Oh, is that all?
I received almost as many. And
Oh,
about 2 nights later, I was on Facebook again, and I was having a couple of drinks, and I seen she was online, so I messaged her, like, and she said to me, which I to be honest with you, I took it as an insult. Yeah, like, this is not the same person that I was talking to the other night, and I was like, hang on a second, hang on a second. So I basically convinced her that it was me. We were texting, so we were through Facebook for a couple of weeks, and then on Christmas Eve 2011, the 24th of December 2011, I said it in my own head. I said, right, I'm gonna ask her for her number, and if she gives me her number, then it means basically this is going somewhere, right?
mm-hmm.
So approximately 8 p.m., I told a white lie. I said I was running out of mobile data, and could I get her number? And she sent me her number, and I went outside and stayed about 2 hours on the phone speaking to her. That was the first time I heard.
Oh,
That was the first time I heard her voice.
no, it's
five
beautiful.
weeks to the day from initial contact. 5 weeks to the day. I remember telling her, right, this is crazy because I had never seen her in the flesh, yeah. And I remember telling her, I said, I love you, and she's like, what? Like, are you for real? Like, like, we don't know each other, like. I was like, I'm telling you, I love you. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that doesn't actually have to matter. I mean, if you gel well with a person, which you would have known by then you can pretty much tell, you
I
know.
know, but it was just a bit, probably from her point of view, it probably was a bit random, or she wasn't
Well,
expecting it.
obviously
But
not, but the random things are normally the best kind.
Yeah, yeah. And I first met her in the flesh on the 19th of January 2012 at approximately 3 p.m. in a cinema. And we went to see the Hunger Games. I think it was the Hunger Games. I could be wrong. I think it was the Hunger
That sounds
Games.
about. I would have been about the right sort of time if it was the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There
think
are
I
4
think it
or
was the
5
Hunger
of them in
Games. But we sat and we spoke the whole way through it, and people were like shh, shh, and like me being me, I was like shut the fuck up, like basically I paid my money just as much as you did, and she was like, oh, calm down, you know, you're it's basically
there.
like,
Yeah.
you know, uh but I convinced her to go to another movie immediately. So I don't even remember the second film, the name of the second film. Actually, you know what? I do. It was something about like the light or something. It was something about these creatures, and they're in the darkness. You had to stay in the light. Something about basically the light, but I wasn't really passing heed to it. But
It wasn't a
yeah,
Vin Diesel film, was
now
it?
when I think about it, it was something like that. No, I can't recall who was in it per se, but
I know because you weren't paying attention
yeah,
to the
I
film, obviously.
before we ever met up, we'll be talking on. No, we're just in depth in conversation. There was only 3 people in the cinema screen for that film, and we happened to be 2 of them, and we're just talking away. But we used to stay on the phone to each other for hours, and I remember at one point which I think one of the reasons, even though I question, there is days I question like what does she see in me, at certain days. But one of the good qualities she told me that she's seen in me eventually was my honesty. Now at first, uh, she she brought it out in this way. She said, you're a bit too honest, more
Hmm.
like for your own good. You know that. I was
Yes.
like, what do you mean? She's like, uh,
I've heard that thrown at
there's
me a lot of
certain
times.
things like that you just say, or there's, that, like maybe you should like hold back from saying, like, even if you're thinking it,
Hmm.
you should hold back from saying it. But I think that was one of my qualities that she. But then se- on the 7th of February 2012, I well on the I think it was on the 3rd of February, I was talking to her on the phone, and her older sister was talking to me, and I said basically, look, I especially in our culture, it's like, if you're serious about a relate, like, everybody's entitled to do what they want to do, but if you're serious about a relationship, well then, you have to do the cordial thing, and
Hmm.
I basically said, look, I've been asking your sister, like, I was asking my wife, would it be okay if I came down and asked the father, could I marry her? And she's like, no, 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 like, like, no, no, you mad, like, she wanted to get to know me a bit more, but I think she kind of knew who or what I was, more or less, at that point. But our sister said, yeah, and told me the address, and then our sister went and broke the news the next day that I was coming down
Oh,
on the 7th of
Jesus
February. I
Christ!
traveled
what
down,
the
so I
hell?
did,
Hold on.
to Galway,
Who the? Sorry about
and
that. Who the?
No.
I don't know who.
I had a couple
Why
of
is he trying to give me a
friends
heart
and family
attack?
members,
I'm sorry. I didn't know it
males
was.
that were
That's
with me.
right.
We get in here, we're gonna have such great crack buzzing off you, and you know, seeing you propose and stuff. And as soon as the car stopped, for my own good luck, yeah, one of my brothers happened to notice a person that was related to her. You're okay. Well,
Let me turn this thing down. Hold on, guys.
That's all right,
no,
guys.
it's
I mean,
okay.
it
It's okay.
happens.
Basically, when we jumped out of the car, I made a beeline for the house. Yeah, I made a beeline. Okay, and my brother and the rest of the group of males that I was in company with, they got talking to a person that my brother knew from her family. Okay, from years. So I went straight into the house. I walked straight into the house, and on the right hand side was the door to enter the living room or lounge or whatever you like to call it. And to the right hand side of that was a 3-seater with 2 females sitting on it, and opposite was a 1-seater recliner with an older gentleman. Now I never seen her father, but I was described kind of like what he looked like. So I immediately walked over, introduced myself, and basically said, "Can I marry your daughter?" And the man replied to me, but he had a not like a he, not a speech impediment. He just had a really thick accent that was difficult to understand, and he
What
muttered
kind of
2 or
accent?
3. He muttered the same sentence like 2 or 3 times, and I was bewildered. Yeah, and I looked over at the girls, and they said, "No, they're waiting for you in the kitchen." Right beside him was 2 double doors, and I walked through the double doors, and basically there was her father, her mother, about 4 or 5 of her sisters, 1 or 2 of her brothers, all sitting there waiting. And I knew that the boys were coming in behind me, and that when they got in there, they were gonna start taking the Mickey, and well, they were gonna have a bit of crack, per se.
Of course.
So I turned to her father and I said, my name, and I said, I'm here to ask you a question. And he said, what is that? I said, can I marry your daughter? And he said, well, it's not up to me, it's up to her. So there she is. Ask her yourself. Now, my mind went blank, and it's like as if
Oh
the room starts
no.
spinning momentarily. She was sitting beside him to his left hand side, right? And I glanced around the room, and I could hear my relations and friends coming into the house, and they were laughing and joking. And I glanced all the way around the room, and then eventually I made eye contact with her, and I asked her, "Will you marry me?" And she said, "I will." And then boys came into the kitchen, and they already had the mobile phones out, so they did. And they were like, "Oh, did we miss it? Oh, for fuck's sake, we wanted to record it." And they got us to sit down beside each other, and there was these chandelier things, right? But you could redirect you could twist the lights to direct them to what area you wanted on us, and took photographs of us. And we still have, there's
Oh.
only one photograph survived from that evening. But yeah, we went to a local pub and had a couple of drinks, and
Well, of course it'd end up in a
um,
pub because you're in Ireland, for
I
goodness
can
sake.
continue. I
That's a
remember
given.
lots of other dates and stuff, but uh, um, I don't
I
know.
think it's
It's
a pretty
just
funny story when you were talking about your actual
sorry,
wedding.
folks.
That's all right. It's always nice to hear
But
beautiful
yeah,
stories.
sorry for droning on.
No, of course not.
No, forgive me for the noise. I didn't know my son-in-law was going to do this to me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I was going to say, bloody hell, right?
Can you hear
I have
me?
a heart condition and you gave me a bloody heart attack nearly. Yeah, we can hear you, Sean.
I didn't know my son-in-law was going to do this.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
he
We
can't
can
hear
hear
us.
you.
He can't hear us.
We can hear you.
Hello?
I don't know if you can still hear me. Can I
Yeah.
be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Do you write out in the chat we can hear him, CJ or DJ?
CJ.
I'm right. That's my son-in-law's. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know if I can be heard.
Hang on.
I'm going to put this on mute in case he comes back again with this noise.
Yeah, the wedding is Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
And we can hear you, so
both. I
that's
believe
good.
there's somebody muted, but
That's cool.
but yeah, the wedding is a completely different story. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that
I
was
suppose I'll tell you that
hilarious.
another time.
Yeah,
The
I said
element of
that
comedy
was
to it, I
hilarious.
suppose, as well.
Yeah. I think it'd be nice to like have a like English, Irish, and a few other so, as a panel because like we're all similar but we're different, and you know, to like compare like nice stories like that because it's all about doom and gloom normally on the internet, and you don't normally hear like the nicest stories, do you? Because it's all about drama and that, and life isn't full of drama really. It can be if you let it, but you try not to.
I think there might be a delay.
It could possibly be. I don't know.
Are you on YouTube?
Or you want to do, yeah. It still depends on what internet provider you have and that. To if there's a slight
I
delay,
think
but
there may be a delay.
See, Sky's on here too.
Skies agrees with me about the fighting and that. Ridiculous.
It is. I don't even talk to my neighbors hardly. Only one if they need help, and that's it. And then I just my own business, go back to my house.
What do you mean, Skies? That you had to block a lot of people today? What on earth is going on? I can't remember the last time I actually had to block someone from my channel. It's been a while.
Wow, a lot of people she had to block her.
Unfortunately, you don't.
Well, only because people know what my tolerances are, and I've got good mods to be fair. People get warnings, or Google just time people out for the crack of it, but
No, it's not. It,
Wonder if she can come on up and tell us what's going on. Put us on private chat.
no, it like that. Like you just said, it can if you let it. But
exactly.
Breaking up again, Guinness.
well, no, life in general, I think.
Yeah, I think if you're a kind of person that thrives on drama, you're going to get drama thrown at you. If you try and ignore it and that, then it's all good. I mean, it's taken me a while now to get rid of all the troublemakers out my channel, and I'm actually glad for it. Yeah, my channel's
Am
got
I
quieter.
up to speed when I talk?
Yeah.
Like, or is there a delay?
I think you might be hearing one, but there isn't say a delay when I talk to rights or. Hi Candice, how are you, darling? You okay? It could be where you are. I honestly couldn't say, Sean, to be fair, but
I want another channel blocked. People then left. I went to another channel blocked. Well, she must have went through hell today.
if you want to talk about it, obviously before we go live later on, we can do because.
You had to block a lot of people today.
Who's got their YouTube on now? For goodness sake. I'm not sure, Sean, if there is or not. That's strange because when we've spoken up on panel before, there wasn't a delay. When you're over on Skies, there wasn't a delay either. So it could just be a funny day. I honestly couldn't say.
You can hear me, right, DJ? Pretty good.
Yeah, there isn't a delay when we talk. So, and there wasn't when. Or it got a bit funny when there was like 9 of us on at one point, but I got a bit crazy, and then apparently I fell asleep for 2 minutes or something, which I don't know how that happened. And when I was like rubbing Leo's ears when I didn't have my headphones on for a little while, but I thought I was muted then. Oh, I don't even know what's going on my own channel today. Fucking hell. It's all good though.
It's all good when someone asks, saying this. So spend time with.
But
Wow.
So if you want to try again, Sean, I will let you up when you want to come back in, and that's all good.
But what if you guys should have ladies' night tomorrow?
It's actually today for me. Well,
yeah.
actually, it would turn into tomorrow because it will literally start at 2 a.m. for me. Oh, Candice, you wouldn't know about that. On Living Skies channel, it'd be tomorrow for you, I think. Because I think you're on the same time difference, aren't you, as Skies? Like you're sort of like 7 or 8 hours behind me.
I'm what, 5 hours? KY said.
Now I know yours is 5 hours, but Candice lives in the same area as Bud, I believe, and Bud is a few hours even further
that's
behind. So
3 hours. That'd be 8 hours, 6, 7, 8 hours difference.
If you come over to Sky's channel tomorrow, Candice, we're having a ladies' night. Well, gentlemen are obviously allowed in, but if you put in the chat, Candice, what time? Skies for Candice, what time it will start on your time? because there are so many different bloody time zones. I get fucking confused. It's ridiculous. But it should be a good night. Hopefully Ginger will come in. Lulu will be on there as well, and Wright's wife is coming in. So it should be a good night tomorrow, and it's all about having fun. It's not about drama and all of that. It's about just having fun and a laugh, because I think that's been missing from YouTube for a little while, where people can just like sit down, have a laugh and a joke without it being too serious, and obviously we'll be able to get our
All right.
our
So,
own back on certain gentlemen.
so what you guys
I
coming
love
at 9? Okay, you guys are coming at 9 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time, right?
it'd be 9 your time.
So it'll be
It's
6 o'clock at Candace's time. 6 o'clock.
well, Sky's saying 7 p.m. her time, so
Yeah, she's 2 hours behind me.
I'm just
2
trying to
hours
think.
ahead of me.
Well, I think Sky's has got it set up so you'll be able to see it come up like a half hour before or something. But like I say, it'd be 2 o'clock my time, and then we can like alternate the channels so I'm not always having complete late nights, because that would just not be good.
I hope you guys don't have any problems tomorrow.
I'm
Oh
not
man.
sure. Yes, I still have that gear actually. I think, unless I lost it when I think I lost it when my internet went yesterday. But I will obviously get it again at some point. Bloody ridiculous when that happened. Couldn't believe it.
I'm pretty sure Candace is 6 o'clock your time, because it's 3 hours difference when I talked to Savage Audit in California.
Is there, right? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I didn't have it, but I wasn't. It was fine, and then my internet, well, my internet just went, and then it sort of like took everything down, and oh, all the pages that I had marked like weren't there anymore. I'm thinking, my bloody laptop. I think one of my cats decided to jump on the mouse as well, which didn't help.
I'd like to ask you something, DJ.
Yes, darling.
That logo in the middle, is that Guru's logo?
It's one of them.
I'll tell you what, I like that. He's right about that. 100% right about that.
Guru has a lot of them. Especially he likes the one where urinating on the Union Jack. He likes that, using that one around me. And thank you, Guru, for let me have the link again. He's too kind to me.
Candace.
But it's all good. But I will like bookmark that, most definitely.
Well, Guru, looks like we're going to be without a nothing to do tomorrow.
Well, I know Chad said he was going to come over, and obviously Guru will probably come over as well. And I would say it's not an all ladies like room. I mean, men are allowed in there. You're
Oh,
right,
here we go.
Sean. What do you mean, Candace? You got bad typing? That's all right. Oh, a keyboard instead of a keyboard. Okay, yeah.
I'm here. I'm early for today, ladies' night. He's here early. Okay.
Well, considering you're on the wrong channel, darling, that might be a bit of a problem. This isn't it, we're not doing it on my channel, but it's going to be on Sky's channel. So I mean, we will obviously do them on mine as well, because because it will get like a mixed audience more. But no, it should be like a good weekly thing, and then we can work out and do other stuff as well. That's a bit more light-hearted and not full of drama. Because I really cannot stand it. What do you mean it's a good thing you found out now? You were doing it on Sky, so he's trying to wind me up, cheeky git. Can you hear us now, Sean, by the way? Is it all good? They can hopefully Ginger will be awake, Candice. I mean, I will try and contact her a little bit before to remind her, but her sleeping pattern's been off. Her cousin's been trying to call her when she's been trying to sleep and that, so hopefully she'll be okay later on. But we just have to see. But she's actually looking forward to Sunday because she gets her brand new bed, and not only on a Sunday, it's my actual birthday as well, which she wants me to do something on Sunday. I don't know about that. I think during the day I'm gonna have a lovely day outside with Leo and just let my hair down and just be free with it all, you know. I don't mean with the clothes or anything perverted.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, darling.
Oh, you can hear me now, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just I'd like to say thank you to everybody that allowed me to speak.
You don't have to say thank you to me. I mean,
I
of
mean it
course I'd let you
everybody.
speak. I don't think there has ever been an instance where I've like said for you not to speak, because it's important
No,
to
no,
get those
I
feelings out, isn't it? You know.
no, I didn't mean like that. I was just
No, I
basically
know.
saying thank you because
No, no, you're very welcome.
I am.
You know, you should get on StreamYard and form a group like, people who had experience like you had and talk about it out there.
We were sort of like talking about this, but doing a channel would make him more of a target, because he'd be putting his name out there, and then you'd have the trolls and things like that. So
Are you
you'd
kidding
have
me?
to be. Oh no, no, no! We're not kidding you at all.
Well, like
Jeez.
for instance, I have thought about making a YouTube channel, different ones, relating to different things. For instance, one I was thinking I just used the device called Spongeology, meaning basically come to the channel and take the information that you think that you need and soak it up and use it in your
Yeah.
life. Another one was to do interviews with people from not only my own ethnic
Mm-hmm.
group, but all types of people. But unfortunately, if I did the latter of the two, if I did the one with the interviews, it would definitely be painting a target on myself. And
Well, I think
Damn.
if you would need any help, then I mean, I don't mind helping if you need any help like that, because uh, people already know my voice on here, so wouldn't be too much of a thing to help others. So I wouldn't
I
mind doing it.
I appreciate that. Cool Tools has said as well that he would try help. So did Steve. The thing is, if to reach out to people in order to contact them and ask them onto the channel, I would have to disclose to them who I was and my reasons for wanting to do it, and unfortunately, there's some bad people out there that would use that as an excuse to cause trouble between certain clans amongst um
Well,
our
unless you was to do it on another channel, and it's like on a couple of days a week, I let Bud and KY use my channel. I mean, I don't mind doing that if you wanted to do it like that for a while to see how it went. Don't mind doing that.
You can use my channel too once I start getting upgrading here. Dennis, you want to use it?
Well, it'd be
no
the time
I
difference.
I honestly I really appreciate that. It's like I I I'll explain it this way. If I was to go and approach another traveling person, okay, and ask them to come on the channel. Now, traveling people are very secretive,
They are.
very, very secretive. Okay, but if I know a couple that probably would come on the channel, but they would then know who was behind the channel. So then
Well,
word would
I could always ask my family to help because
circulate.
they
Hang
are
on.
part of that community as well. So that'd be one way of like starting it, I suppose.
Well, like
And
maybe I'm looking at it in a negative light because I wouldn't
no,
be bringing anybody on to talk about anything negative per se, but kind
no,
of
of
in a
course
way
not.
of how we can bring the community back to what it once was, you know,
Exactly.
and how to quite literally to do it.
It's
Um,
all about unity and getting rid of those lines that people have put there, and the bigotry and all of that to try and get
well,
rid of it all. It's going to be hard, but
exactly.
it'd be well worth it. All good things are well worth it, but it takes time and patience and all of that. But it'd be well worth it if it can happen.
Well, as I disclosed earlier, there are community groups that have been set up by the government, okay, um, to do projects amongst the traveling community, and basically it's just so that they can tick a box. Now I'm not trying to knock the people
No,
that are, they're trying, uh, but it's been like the same people working in the same format for the last 20 odd years, and they haven't really broke through, you know. If anything, a lot of, especially the younger generation, are looking at them more or less like you're out of touch with the reality on the street, and the reality that we have to deal with. So I think it's time for a newer approach, and basically, rather than expecting a government that would rather us not exist, or rather us be somebody else's problem, rather than relying on them or waiting for them to give us something, to come together and build something by ourselves, for ourselves, to better ourselves, and
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but there will be certain individuals which won't like to let that happen, which you'd have to
oh
overcome
yes.
that. But I think it's possible.
Well, where there's a will, there's a way. It's
Well,
like
especially
I
if you start with like bridging the divide between like Ireland and the UK, for example. Now that's a start within itself, and
well, that's a big
you
one.
actually understand. No, but you understand the UK,
Hmm.
and I have understanding of Ireland, so it could work, but it is going to take a lot of work. But
Of
I
course, you're
say it
not
would
going
be
to be
well
able to
worth
fit
it.
everybody.
No, but
I'll use this way of or metaphor. Not everybody is going to want to get onto the lifeboat, you know. You get what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean,
You
but
know, but
I say it's
you
not going
can
to
say,
be for everyone. But even if we actually reach, say, a quarter of the people we'd want, that's a quarter of the people that you wouldn't have necessarily got to, you know.
I agree with you.
That's the way you've
I
got to
do.
see it.
I am. When I was in that youth center, I used to give. I was actually voted. The staff picked somebody else to. They were from a middle class background, not holding any. That's it's not. They were basically. They were more respectable. The only reason why they were actually attending the youth center was because they got caught with 25,000 euros worth of drugs, and they got kicked out of school, and there was court cases going on. And he told me himself the only reason why he was attending was because he wanted to look good in court, and he didn't want to go to prison. And in the long run, he didn't go to prison. Now I don't know why he didn't go to prison, but put it like this, it depends who you are. I'll just, in Ireland, it really does depend who you are, and no matter what the crime,
Darn
per
it!
se.
Jesus, not again.
This time, no, I shut
But
off the messenger. And he called me. Oh, dang
the
it!
staff chose that individual
Doggone you!
to do the public speaking, and he refused, and we had a vote, and I was voted, so I was to be the public speaker. And anytime we went into public and there had to be a speech or anything like that, I am I'm not shy of public speaking or
No,
things like that.
it's a completely different issue. I completely get it.
Hopefully, you won't call me up.
That's good, Tonkin. That you're at home. Goodness for that.
Yeah, I just need to start. I just need to start a channel and just go for it. Because
It's like what I said before. If you wanted to do like a couple of practice runs, but using somebody else's channel so you don't have to completely get your feet completely soaked with it, then that might be a way of doing it. I don't know. It's completely down to yourself which way you want to go.
And you're more than
no,
welcome to
I
use mine too,
appreciate.
Kenneth. You're more than welcome.
I really appreciate. I do. I honestly I appreciate the offer, and I will contemplate it. It's just basically amongst my ethnic group, there are many different clans, and although there's many different, we'll just say, surnames. Each surname relates to a clan. Amongst those clans, there are subdivisions of clans, and they argue and fight amongst each other and feud physically. There's been some tragic murders and over the years and stuff. So my initial thoughts would be, or my paranoia would be, that if I had a member from one clan on speaking, even if they just talked about the weather, somebody from the rival clan would take that as a personal issue because they weren't asked first. You get me?
Wow.
Yeah,
So that would give
I do
them,
actually get it.
as far as they're concerned, enough ground to start a feud. Or,
Hey,
and when I
Katrin.
say a feud, I mean like you can go onto YouTube and just put in Traveller feuds. To be honest with you, since the recording of Traveller call out videos and feud videos and bare knuckle boxing. See, bare knuckle boxing was actually a part of our, and it is a part of our tradition, but it was done in a much more respectful manner. You didn't There was no call out videos. If you had a problem with an individual, for instance, either there and then or maybe the next day, there would be two fighters would have basically a bare knuckle boxing match, and there would be no rounds. There would be referees, but there'd be no rounds. If a person fell to the ground, once they had one hand on the ground, you cannot touch them. But as soon as both of their hands are off the ground, you can strike them again. The fight goes on until either one of the opponents is knocked out or until they admit defeat, which
That
in the
doesn't
traveling
normally happen very
community,
easily.
well, admitting defeat is more shameful than, uh, like some people that, like, tragically, some people were provoked into those type of situations, but bare knuckle boxing matches that they didn't want to have. And even though they didn't admit defeat, the referees deemed that the fight was over. They were unfit to continue. So the opponent that was still able to continue claimed victory, even though, yes, it was a victory, but because he wasn't granted victory, it wasn't, in a way. And sadly, some men have taken their lives because of incidents like that, because of bringing shame on the family.
It's a little bit similar to, say, how the Japanese are about honor and family and things. It's a little bit similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. Funny enough, it is. Yeah, it is. It's you know, it, it is, unfortunately. Like the suicide rate in my community is, like, it's staggering. On average, a person from the traveling community will die between 20 and 30 years younger than a person from the non-traveling community. Um,
I'm sure.
they're like, I think it's something. I think I could be wrong on the figures because they change all the time, and it depends on what stats you look at. But I think there's something like 60% more likely to be incarcerated than someone from the non-traveling community. Once they're incarcerated, it's over 75% chance that they will return. Um, it reminds me, so it does, some of the correlations between my community and other ethnic groups and downtrodden people around the world. Like, for instance, in America, not directly, but there are similarities between the way certain sections of the black community are treated, and also would be similar to how Irish travelers are treated. And I was recently talking on, Steve's page,
Oh,
Plastic Paddy.
as in Plastic Paddy's page, yeah, sure. I haven't been over there for a little
Yeah,
while, but I will do
he
soon.
he
I have
grew
three
up on
questions.
a. Go ahead.
I have I have three questions because I don't know your area, where you're at. But one is, what happens to the senior people? I mean, don't they try to stop the gang members? I mean, do
It,
they get
it,
picked on too?
it'll be very hard for that to happen because of how Ireland is. It is completely different to America, and in the UK as well. It's difficult. I mean, Sean will tell you this.
Okay.
Ireland is a very strange place indeed because of all the you actually have to know the rules of the game, and a lot of it is kept behind closed doors. So until you're there and you've actually experienced it, it's hard to get your head around it all.
Wow. Okay. The second thing is, uh, how many gang members are there?
You mean gang members, or do you mean people from the traveling community that
Well,
associate themselves with criminal behavior?
I would have to say the people that you argue with all the time,
Right. Well, I
the
per se,
clans.
right. Okay. There's approximately 100,000 travelers. Well, there's more than that. Like, to be honest with you, sir, my government name is not my real name. Meaning, all of my life I have been using forged documents.
Wow.
Quite literally, I was not registered. I was born in a hospital, but I was not correctly registered, and subsequently, like when I went to school in England, it was under one particular name. When I was using the health service in England, it was under a separate name. Pretty much the same. Even when I returned to Ireland, when I was in that center for youth, I was using another name again. My criminal convictions are under a different name altogether. Yet again, I'm married under yet another name. Yeah, it's really complicated and weird. But there's a lot of travelers, less this day and age, that are in that scenario, or because mandatory, like being registered at birth, and not being allowed to take the baby out until the baby has been fully documented. But like, for instance, my mother was born on the side of a road underneath a wooden wagon with, like, it would be a wooden wagon with a barrel-shaped roof on a bale of straw, and she hasn't got a birth certificate. All of her life, she has been using, her first cousin and her have the same name, and she has been using her first cousin's birth certificate to get her ID and medical treatment and whatnot.
Wow.
my mother doesn't actually know her date of birth, and she actually doesn't know her age. She knows roughly within a year or two, but she actually doesn't know her actual age, which is crazy. Like, it's crazy. To be honest,
it's
3 years in a
Ireland's
row, 3 years in a row, I bought her 50th birthday gifts for 3 years in a row. Partially because she didn't know, and partially because she'd always say she would say, "Oh no, I'm only 49 this year. I'm only 49," and like this was going on. So I was like, we did the math, because my mother gave birth to my eldest sibling when she was 16. So we kind of worked. That's how we kind of worked out her age was.
Oh,
Like,
bless
if
her.
you
slick.
know.
hmm it's fooling because
Um.
Ireland looks so beautiful when you see it on TV. It's just gorgeous looking over
Well,
there.
it actually is. There are beautiful people in Ireland. It's not all bad, but it's not all good
Oh,
either. But it's the same with any country.
it's not all bad. Even in the, like, the traveling community get a very bad propaganda. They get very, very bad propaganda, and the individuals that conduct themselves in, let's just say, like thugs, and go on the internet brandishing guns and threatening to take rival clan members' lives, or recording vicious attacks of random or rival, sorry, not random, rival clan members, and destruction of property, and that's kind of used nowadays against them. But and then within the community, there's the majority, they don't condone that type of behavior. By all means, if there's a problem, it's in our culture to have as I described, a bare knuckle boxing match, but to do it discreetly. And then sometime, I believe, it could be in the late 80s or early 90s, somebody thought it was a good idea to record one bare knuckle boxer sending a message to another bare knuckle boxer from a rival clan, and to have the VHS tape brought to him in order for him to watch it. And that was one of the biggest mistakes that was ever made, because they started recording the fights, they started recording the reason for the fights, they started taunting each other. Sometimes there will be challenges for pride, but maybe someone will refuse to fight unless there's money involved as well. Like, they'll say, for instance, yeah, me and you did have a falling out, and we had a disagreement, but if you want to fight me, I will fight you for no less than 10,000 euro, for instance. So money gets involved. Like, I've heard of fights going, like, quite literally for £500,000 sterling on one bare knuckle fight. Those type of fights don't come around that often, but yeah, it'd be like, you'd hear maybe maybe 2 or 3 times a year you'd hear of a bare knuckle fight that would have maybe 50,000 or 100,000 prize money. So basically, if it was 50,000, one opponent puts up 25,000 of their own money, and the other opponent puts up 25,000 of their own money, and the winner takes all. So really, they're gaining 25,000, for instance, plus they're honoring their family, their tradition, proving that they are not afraid to fight, warding off other people at the same time from challenging them, asserting their dominance. Yeah, it's quite complicated, to be honest. Probably sounds a little bit crazy.
I have another question. Is this fight between the orange and the green, or does it matter anymore?
No, it's
No,
not really about
these
the north and the south.
okay.
This is completely
If
different.
if
Okay.
if you'll allow me for a minute, I'll break
Sure,
it
yeah, you
down.
can
Um,
say as much as you
okay.
want. I don't mind.
I'm learning. I'm
The
learning.
fights I was talking about there, the bare knuckle fights, they're predominantly from my ethnic culture, and also people that are from the same culture. Predominantly, now other people from outside the culture do get involved in these fights as well. Then you have, that's one aspect. Then you have the feuds amongst our ethnic culture that entails of like groups of armed men attacking, basically, committing ferocious and vicious acts of violence against one another. Leaving the Irish traveling community to one side, then you have Irish gangland, which is, to a degree, it's a whole different it is a whole different kettle of fish, and I don't know which is worse, at times, to be honest. The gangland culture in Ireland is very ruthless, very, very, very ruthless, and it wouldn't be like, well, there are random acts of violence and random things do occur, but the majority of it is well premeditated and well thought out in advance. It even goes as deep as you had like best friends of, for instance, now, like, I'm just saying things that are, word on the street, yeah, but it's kind of like people know this, but for instance, somebody executed, so they will hire somebody to do the job. They may give them something like maybe 20,000 euro, 50,000 euro, depending on how high value the target is. When that person completes the job, more times than not, when they go to collect payment, they become the job. So instead of getting paid, they get killed.
Wow.
Then the person that usually kills them is usually a heroin addict or somebody that is trying to make a name for themselves by taking life for money. But then they eventually end up, the same thing happens. I've heard of incidences where people were invited to house parties and they innocently thought they were going to a house party and they were gave too much alcohol, or maybe they would be given something and it would leave them incapacitated or defenseless. Then they would get somebody to enter the property and inject them with heroin and make them overdose, because it would go down as a statistic of a drug overdose, not as a murder. Another way that they avoid murder investigations is by staging suicides. You know, if it's a suicide or an overdose, there's no need for a murder investigation. And also, there's a saying in Ireland: no body, no crime.
No,
It's saying in a few other places of that too. It's not just Ireland, but it's pretty bad, isn't it?
these rebels, I should say, do they
No,
go after the businesses?
these are gang members. We haven't even got to the rebels yet. We haven't even got to the.
You're kidding me.
Lay down, Leo.
We quite literally
Lay
we
down,
haven't
boy.
even got to the
Good boy,
political
Leo.
end of anything yet.
How is people living in Ireland? How's there any people at all in Ireland? Holy hell.
So
Well,
you haven't got a clue until you actually
the
seen it.
majority
It's difficult. Lay down, Leo.
you can look into yourself in your own time, sir, and you know, for instance, I have a friend. He has a YouTube channel now. He is from Texas, but you can obviously Google this type of information, and you will get news reports and statistics and whatnot.
Wow.
Also,
Thank you, Guru.
then I would recommend. I have a friend that has a YouTube channel, and he's slowly but surely creating an archive documenting the criminal history of Ireland. And
I take it you're talking about Steve's channel now.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No, just I was talking about Steve's channel. It's called Plastic Paddy. But yeah, that's before you even get into anything political. Then the political, gosh, where do we start?
Yeah, that it's a tough one to answer, isn't it?
Well, although what they label the Troubles in the north, it went on for 40 years. What they called the Troubles, which was basically sectarian violence. One side being Catholic and nationalist, and the opposite side being Protestant and being loyalist to the British Crown.
Ow, Leo, careful.
That went on, so it did for over 40 years, and the shocking things happened. Like bombings, massacres. There's a group of people that are known as the disappeared, and what that relates to is basically they were taken because of suspicion of basically either being police informants or for being traitors, and they were subsequently murdered or executed, and their bodies have never been found, so they're known as the missing. What else? A lot of the political violence up the north as well. How can I say it?
Wouldn't you just come out and say it how you'd want to say it? I mean, everyone in here would understand.
Yeah, I will. I'm just trying to think of how to describe it, to be honest.
Well, I say it's difficult.
Yeah, right. From the time of the partition of Ireland, dividing the north from the south, that was made official in 1922. Okay.
Wow.
1922, I believe. Yeah, I believe, if my memory serves me well. 1921, 1922.
Yeah.
I
think
for
that's
some
the
reason
date
I'm
you said
thinking
the other
it might
day.
be 21. But from that time, the majority of people that were living across the island that were of Protestant, that identified themselves as Protestant or British, moved to the north. Okay, now remember, this all stems back to about 1,000 years ago, and there was a lot of rebellions and uprisings, and there was the reason why the reason why the north was actually selected to be kept was because of a couple of simple factors. Ulster is the most northerly province of Ireland, and while the British were ruling and colonizing Ireland, there was many rebellions, but the most rebellious area was Ulster, which was the north. So they also, at the same time, on the borderlands of Scotland and England, on mainland Britain, they had basically skirmishes and stuff happening between Scottish Protestants and English lords and stuff like that. So they decided to kill two birds with one stone. They made a deal with the Scottish Protestants that they could go to Ireland, predominantly in Ulster, and claim land for themselves and make plantations, as long as they squashed any future rebellions that would spark up in the area. So immediately, within a short period of time, you went from having your garrisons scattered throughout the land to having basically an invading force in almost every field. Okay, and that put a squash, so it did, to the majority of the rebellions in the north. So that's why they chose the north when they were dividing the island in order to keep, because that's where their stronghold was, if you will. The British stronghold was. Now, when the partition happened, most people that was of one, identified as one thing, side, culture, background, identity, or the other, went either north or south in order to be spared from persecution and bloodshed. But there was a certain amount of Catholics that remained in Ulster and refused to travel south across what they believed as a non-existent border. So they stuck around, and that part of Ireland became a part of the British, stood a part of the British Empire, which is still today a part of the United Kingdom. Okay,
It is.
we're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere. Trust me. So from about 1922 until 1969, most Catholics were living in squalor and ghettos and tenements. They couldn't get a job really. You know, like basically the one job they were guaranteed that they would be accepted for was to fight for the British Army or the British Empire. Let it be in the like as a regular soldier or in the Navy. So they were second-class citizens, and they were being treated as such. So in the 60s, especially in America with the civil rights movement amongst African Americans, they also in the North started a civil rights movement, and the police force at the time was called the RUC. If you allow me 1 second, it's the
You can say what you like.
Royal. No, I'm gonna explain what RUC stands for. It's
Okay.
the Royal Ulster Constabulary, right? Which basically was the police force of the North, and in a place where to this day the very name of the city is debated. In this city, for instance, someone may ask you this simple question: what is it to you? Okay, I'll repeat that. What is it to you? And what they mean by that is, do you call this city Derry, or do you call it Londonderry? Now,
Whoa,
if you
whoa, whoa,
call
whoa.
it Derry,
Hold, I'm lost here. Can you come back a little bit more?
okay. In the north, there is a city. and the original name of the city was Derry. That's Derry. Okay, but at some
Gotcha.
point in history, um, the word the the name of London as a capital, as in where the ruling empire, the crown, is based, was
As in
placed
where I live.
before.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
right. So, and it was kind of like a way of rubbing it in the nationalists or Catholics knows it's like basically London is the center of power. So basically, this is Londonderry, okay? And so if a certain person identifies as a nationalist or not so much Catholic, but today it's like nationalist and unionist are the opposing sides. If you are nationalist, well, you would refer to it as Derry. And if you are a unionist, they refer to as Londonderry. So by asking you that simple question, what is it to you? They can tell by your answer whether you're a friend or foe.
And other people
And that's
may be
where
asking as an innocent question, but it's a trust issue, isn't it, Sean? To be fair.
it is. You in Derry / Londonderry. I actually, to be honest with you, when I'm identifying that city, especially when I'm up the north, I call it the Maiden City, or I call it the city built on the Foyle, because the River Foyle runs through it, and a lot of people kind of have to kind of second guess it, because it's
I've
embedded into
always
them
called
to.
it Derry, even though I'm English. I've always called it Derry. So I don't know what that means, in regards to that. But that's the way I've always called it. But
Yeah.
That to be honest with you, I one night I was in Derry. I was in a pub, me and my wife, and went out to the
okay,
smoking area when two individuals followed us out. Okay, and one was a short, skinny guy. The other guy was about 6 foot, but he was very muscular. You could tell he had a boxer's physique. Plus, you could tell by the look on his face that he was he wasn't a friendly kind of guy. Yeah, he was forwardly aggressive, not only in his body language but in his tone of voice and one thing or another. The
okay.
skinnier guy sat down and we started speaking, and they knew automatically from my accent I was from the south, and my wife was from the south, and the other guy started to get not physically aggressive, but you could see he was getting agitated, and he was they definitely had their own type of slang that I couldn't understand, but I knew, I definitely knew by the tone of voice and by the eye contact that this, I better be careful in what I say here and what I
That's
what
okay.
I proceed to do. They turned around, and one of the first questions they asked me was, "What's it to you, lad?" And I
Oh,
said, "What's what to me?" No, I knew what they were on about. I said, "Like what's what to me?" And he said, "Where are you?" I said, I was being a bit of a smart ass at the same time. I said, "I'm in a pub."
you
He
never.
said, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Right." And you could see the larger guy was getting more agitated. So he was. And the other guy basically was, keeping a cool head. Long story short, they said basically, what do you call this city? And I turned around and I said to them, I call it what it says on the road sign, right? And they said, well, which is? And I said, well, it depends on how far you travel away from the city. Because as you approach the city, all of the road signs have the word London spray painted off. But if you're a good distance away from the city, you can actually see Londonderry in this direction. So they knew basically I was avoiding the question, but at the
Well, of
same
course.
time, I'd been a bit of a smart ass, right? It came down to it, and they basically said, well, again, I knew that the bigger guy, he was preparing to strike me. And basically the shorter, skinnier guy said, no, seriously, lad. Yeah, he said to me, seriously, lad, what is it to you? And I said, it's Londonderry. And the bigger guy thumped his fist on the table and he said, there's no such fucking thing. Yeah, he said, there's no such fucking thing.
Oh.
Right? And I said, well, as I told you, it is what it says. It is to me what it says on the road sign. He said, we have all them fucking road signs sprayed off. I said, not the route that I took, which was the truth. And he was getting agitated, and he was basically saying to the other guy, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? And he was basically on about criminality in the south spreading into the north and
Oh, for
ruining
goodness sake.
communities in the right. And he was saying they're all the same down there. I told you they're all the same. And the skinnier guy was a bit more level-headed. Now I was watching. At this point, I
What
had
a bigger.
instructed my wife. I instructed my wife to go into the pub and collect another couple of drinks, but to take her time, So he was basically saying they're all the fucking same. They're all the fucking same. They never cared about us. They didn't care about us then, and they don't care about us now. And what he was referring to was when the partition of Ireland happened, a lot of people in the north believed that the south turned their back on them or betrayed them and left them basically to deal with life as it came, by themselves, which is it is the truth in many respects. Okay. Now the skinnier guy, he was trying to calm the situation. Now, in all fairness to the shorter, skinnier guy, if he had to be hot-headed, I probably would have definitely been physically attacked with fists, but probably a pint glass or something like that I probably would have got in the face.
Of course.
So the bigger guy went into the bar and he went to the toilet. And while he was gone away, I basically said to the skinnier guy, I said, look, it's like this. I'm up here, so I am, for a bit of a vacay with the missus. I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And I used a Bob Marley line. I said, I'm going to throw my cards on your table. I said, like, am I going to be okay here or not? Or should I leave? And he said, you'll be okay. Yeah, he said the other person's name. I remember his name. And I remember exactly what he looks like. He said he basically, he takes things to heart and he was more. My wife's beside me. He was more passionate.
Yeah, I actually heard, but it's okay.
He was more passionate about it, and you know, more hot tempered. And I said basically to the skinnier guy, I said, "Look, man," I said, "I didn't mean no disrespect. You know, I explained where I was coming from. I said, look, I understand it's different up here. Rah. He said, basically, he reassured me that nothing was going to happen and that the other guy'd be cool. So the other guy came back out, and when he came back out, the skinnier guy said to the larger guy, and I won't forget these words, he said to him, lad, just curb it. Right? And then he didn't immediately change his attitude, but he started to wind down from being pent up, and you know, like you could tell by his body language that he was squaring up, you know, for a confrontation, like, you know.
Of course.
And yeah, I drank with them, so I did for a couple of hours, and the skinnier lad went on home, and me and the bigger lad actually stood in the pub, so we did and done shots of whiskey and that until he started.
Isn't it good though when you can go into a pub and have but I wouldn't say calm debate, because it didn't start out calm, but it ends up that way. It's nice when that happens, that you can talk out your differences rather than using your fists.
Myself and my wife were lucky on that occasion, you know.
I don't know whether luck comes into it, but I think you meet people like that in your life.
Well, I'm looking at it from the point of view that if the bigger guy had to walk out for a cigarette by himself, the conversation would have gone a different way. If the smaller, skinnier guy had to not get involved so much in the conversation, it could have gone a different way. It was just, you know, it was luck, and yeah, I was foolish saying what I said. Like,
to be fair though, they started it.
Not being. Oh yeah, they were quite direct. It was quite literally to the point. What is it to you? What is it to you, lad? Like, quite literally to the point. We want to know what side you're on.
They actually didn't have to say a word to you guys, because you didn't like approach them or anything. They could have just like gone on with their business. They didn't have to do that at all. So more for them in a way.
Yeah, but it's very clannish. Like,
of course,
in the north,
I just woke up.
Oh, you got some sleep. Good for you.
Hi, Candace. Oh my God, I love you.
It's all right, Ginger. Oh, there's two devices.
I know, I just paused it.
No, not talking to you. I'm talking to Sean. He's got two devices here, and I don't know which one.
Oh.
Hello.
I love you, Candace.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Sean.
Yeah. Can you? Okay, as I was saying, there's estates, or basically, for anybody that doesn't know what an estate is, it's like how could you describe it? It's basically a location where there's houses in close proximity to each other, and like not all of them. There are some neutral estates where both um both that identify as different live in harmony. But then there's other estates, and when you come towards the estates, on the street poles where the street lights are, for instance, there'll be the Irish flags hanging, and then everything in the estate, like the pavement or maybe the pillars on the entrance to the estate, will be painted in green, white, and gold, or orange, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah, I get you.
and vice versa. In other estates, as you approach them, there is the flag of the United Kingdom hanging from the street poles, and everything is painted in red, white, and blue. And like they're kind of no-go zones. You wouldn't really enter those estates per se unless you knew someone in them or you were invited in. Because you just don't know whether you're gonna come out in the same fashion.
I completely get it.
Yeah, I know some places around London.
Well, this is something Sean knows London very well as well, so he knows where we're coming from as at the same time,
Yeah,
which a lot of
exactly.
people from Ireland wouldn't necessarily know that too. So it's like I say, it's different everywhere, but
Yeah, I know.
it's not. If you get what
Yeah,
I mean, it
I
isn't. It
spent
isn't.
time in Ireland as well, so I actually get the culture and I get what he's on about exactly.
I knew that they were having wars down there, but I didn't realize it was that severe. It's bad.
Oh,
Oh,
Wow.
it's gotten a little bit better, but I wouldn't say it's improved too much. But then when the Kung Flu hit, the divides have gone up
Well,
again, but in a different way, isn't it?
technically, the Good Friday, or there's another thing, okay, that people ask in the North. What is the agreement, the peace treaty? What do you identify it as?
Yeah.
And if you're from the nationalist, if you identify as nationalist, or hence, Catholic, even though it's not really about religion anymore per se.
No, it's not.
If you identify the peace agreement as the Good Friday Agreement, then you are nationalist. If you identify it as the Belfast Agreement, you are from the loyalist community.
yeah.
The violence towards from one side to the other has, from 1998, bar from the Oma bombing, which was, from the information that I have received, was an unsanctioned bombing. Some people believe that it was rogue agents in the IRA that did it. And also, there are other people that believe that it was it was deliberately done by the government, either the British government or the government in the South, in order to ruin the Friday Agreement and or Belfast Agreement, and to keep the trouble going, because there was a lot of people making a lot of money because of it.
Well, it's funny you say that, Sean, because I've asked quite a few different kinds of Irish people that the same question, and you always get a different answer for it, and it's like, okay. So depending on who you ask, and I'm not trying to start an argument or anything, I just find it interesting the different answers you get from different people.
No, to be honest, Vix, as I stated earlier, yeah, I, I, for a lack of a better way of putting it, yeah, I feel sorry for the people in the north that had to live through that. I feel sorry for the people that felt like they had to do certain acts or were coerced into doing certain acts. And if it started in the morning again, I'd feel sorry for them. But to be honest, I don't care whether Ireland unites or not. I do believe it is inevitable. But it would not
I
make
think
any
it'd be
odds to
nice
me.
if it. I think it'd be nice if it was to happen.
In fact, from my personal experience, coming from the culture that I come from, when I was in the UK, living in London, obviously predominantly, I was treated more like a human being. And if I came in contact, for instance, with a police officer, he spoke to me like as if he was speaking to any other individual. And pretty much the same in the north. When I've come in contact with what they call the PSNI, is basically the police service of Northern Ireland, because they couldn't even agree on the name of what to call the police, so they had to call it the PSNI to please both sides. They spoke to me with dignity and respect. However, in the South or in the Republic, when the guards came in contact with me, because automatically, let it be because of my dress code, let it be because of my physical appearance, the company I'd be in,
I would just answer.
there's certain things that
Sean, I'll just answer Uber's question. He's asking where you're from. He's from all over, so and he won't directly answer that for his own reasons, which I'm sure you'd understand because of you being Irish yourself. So I just have to answer that. Sean, carry on.
Yeah, well, basically the guards treated me with no respect or no dignity. They spoke to me like as if I was less than human, and on many occasions when I was in police custody, I was denied my basic human rights, as in I was denied medical treatment, I was denied water, I was denied access to a working toilet, meaning that in some police barracks or police stations, they have cells for adults and they have cells for minors. In most of the cells for minors, there's no toilet. And what I say by toilet, I mean a pit in the ground. There's like a hole. You just do your business, and when they feel like flushing it, they flush it. And you just kind of gotta stand over it and let nature take its course. But yeah, I was deliberately held in the cell with no toilet, so I was. Even before getting being processed, the abuse, they'd be cracking jokes, so they would, and you know, they be saying comments like, because in the traveling community, it's a known fact that family members do actually marry family members, meaning like maybe two first cousins, for instance, might decide to get married, and
Sure.
they would get married and have offspring. Um, uh, I've actually heard of instances where double first cousins, meaning by double first, I mean, for instance, uh, two women would marry two men. Okay, two sisters would marry two brothers. Okay, they would have families, and then some of their offspring would marry each other, which, you know, in some Eastern cultures, that's actually preferred. I know there's some parts of Asia that they actually they try really hard to do that. However, they be making slurs like oh sure, you know, things like I'd say his grandfather's really his father, you know, more or less to say that, you know, my mother was interfered with, or, you know, because of, you know, incest and stuff like that, and you know, just where I never experienced that in England, and I never experienced that in the north. So uh also in I think off the top of my head, I could be wrong, but I think England, well, the United Kingdom, but I think England was the first one to actually identify Irish travelers as their own ethnic identity. Basically giving them basically a sense of being, a sense of
Sense of worth.
that's not so much, to a degree, you know, to a degree, you know, to a degree, and it was years later that the Irish government followed suit. If anybody has any questions on anything I said, feel free to ask me. If I can answer your questions, I will.
Yeah, I got one question. I'd probably be killed before I even got over there. Being American. Wow,
No,
not know what's going on.
no. Actually, mate, if you go over to Ireland, you'll be welcomed.
Really?
Have a great affinity with the Americans. Yeah.
What? Huh.
There's an awful lot of American Irish clans, like, you know.
I think that you'd be welcomed a lot more than, say, Tonkin and I would be, because of where we're from. Even though we've done nothing wrong, but
I forgot I was off panel.
America has a strong relationship with Southern Ireland. You know.
So I didn't know.
The British.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's because of the divide that the government has done, and what happened in regards to how to say this without it coming across wrong. I know what Sean was thinking earlier. You're going to say it in a way that doesn't come across that
I just
you're
refer to
belittling
as a
everyone.
Yeah.
But
Being
no,
that, right?
but
Go
no, I'm
on.
talking about any Irish person here. It's difficult because some of the Irish that live in the north hate being associated with the UK. Others like to. So you just do not know what you're going to get when you speak to certain people from certain areas. It's really difficult. It's a difficult subject. I'm sure Ubers would agree with me. Yeah, it isn't as simple as that at all. Each different person has their own opinion on it, and that's why it gets confusing. That's why when people normally bring it up in the channel, I'm sort of like a bit hesitant on discussing. I mean, I don't mind, obviously, if I know the people that are talking about it, but if other people like jump in that I do not know and I don't know where they are coming from, I get a bit hesitant because I do not want it to start into a full-fledged battleground, which it can do, quite easily.
And that's what you were talking about before with me that one time. Okay, I got it now. I got it.
It's okay.
I got it.
I mean, people can pretty much say what they like on this channel. Like I say, as long as you're not being racist or you're targeting anybody in particular and that, or you're not doxing anyone or getting other people's families and that involved, I don't mind. But I try to avoid politics and religion together, especially because that's what happened. Was it last night? And it
Yeah,
got a
yeah.
little bit.
Yes.
It got a
Yes.
little bit mad last night, and I was like, "Oh no, here we go."
Oh, I missed
I
that one.
forgot I was up here, you guys.
Yeah, it
It's
was
all
a
right,
good one.
Ginger. Don't worry.
The
I was
Rick,
going to ask Ginger, did you actually find her?
In
Find
your
you.
dream.
Your cat?
No, I
said,
woke up. I woke up.
right, and I thought you said you woke up and you couldn't find your cat.
No,
No.
in my
She,
nightmare.
she had a
Oh right,
nightmare that she had been
sorry.
made homeless. And
I actually thought that it was happening. I was like, what the hell?
no,
You was
Oh, I
right a
would be
couple of hours
freaking
ago.
out.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
I'd
oh
be
shit.
freaking. I'd be crying up here, freaking out.
oh yeah. No, it was she had a nightmare that she was homeless and because she
Oh,
was homeless,
Candace, I would love to be held tight,
she went
man.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, you were saying when Tonkin, it'll be after I've had my treatment and probably just after I move,
Yeah.
and then we'll go because it's like I said, it's something my mum wanted, and obviously I'm not going to like advertise it too much, like when and that, but between ourselves will be okay.
Yeah.
But
As long as I like a couple of months' notice.
oh, of course, because obviously we'd have to like sort out like where it's going to be best to stay. I've got to find out where my family is first
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because they're like some of them are in one place, some of them are in another, and
Yeah. I understand the wandering attitude,
well, I mean, I don't mind if it means I have to go over to Ireland a few times to do this, but I mean it's going to be done because I said to my mum that I would do it, but
Yeah, exactly. You've got to hook up with your family members and that, and see where your mum's come from and how she grew up, and
well,
get
even some of my dad's family's Irish too, so it's on both sides of the family here. It's not just my mum's side; it's my dad's side too. So this is why when I say that I don't tend to advertise it, not because I'm ashamed of them or anything like that. It's because
I
I haven't
understand.
spoken to them in a while, and because I'm not fully over what happened to my mum. It's about that. It's not to do with anything else,
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm working on myself and I'm working on different issues. I think that will help get me
understand
better
things.
in a way. Yeah.
Get to know your mum's way of life more when she was growing up and that,
I'll be right back,
Well,
guys. I'm going to change to my cell phone.
like I say, she actually like grew up in London, so it wasn't like that. But for her, her extended family is over there, and it's all over. Like, I've got Australian family too, which that's going to be a bit more difficult to visit, especially with all this double jab business and that, because like I said, even before all of this, like, my aunt wants me to live over there.
Yeah.
I'm still considering it, but I don't know whether or not that would be way too far to go, or
Yeah, and it'll be a lot. It'd be a lot healthcare wise as well, you know.
or not only that, it'd be a lot hotter for Leo as well.
Oh
He,
yeah,
he
exactly. Yeah.
he absolutely hates it over here when it's really hot. So what on earth would I be
Yeah.
able to do over there with him if it's hot all the time? Well, it's not all the time, but the majority of the time it's hot in the in Australia, isn't it? So
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it depends on what parts of Australia you go to. You know, you can. There are some parts of right down the south where they do get pretty harsh winters, you know, and cold.
his family in New South Wales, Melbourne, and where else? Come to me, my head is like all over the place today. I know one of my memories is very sharp, but since it's freaking head cold, it's just like, oh, you know. I was on hippies earlier on, and I was like, okay, like 1 minute, and then started to get a real thumping migraine the next. I literally had to jump up down from his panel and that, because people were saying in chat, DJ's being very quiet, and it was just because people were talking a lot at the same time. I just couldn't handle it in my head, so I just had to jump down. You know, I apologise to him because I don't normally do that. But you do what you got to do, and then obviously, you know, when the cops started hammering down my door,
Yeah.
dickheads.
When was this then?
What with the Rosses, you mean?
Yeah.
Hello.
That they actually came round. It was about 8:30, 8:45 in the
What this
evening.
morning? Oh,
No,
in the
the
evening.
evening. Yeah,
Oh my god.
and like I said, it's quite a heavy parcel, which my nice neighbour still hasn't had a chance to sort, because he's been coming back really late, so he doesn't obviously want to bang on my door late at night because he knows what issues I have. So, which I don't mind it being there, but because of nosy neighbours, I mean, what the hell has it got to do with them anyway? And why on earth call the police when there's nothing wrong?
Yeah. Well, no, DJ. If I was you in your situation, I'd have opened the door to the Rodders and just gave them an earful and say,
No,
right,
I actually gave him an
why
earful
don't you
through
get
the
in the house?
door.
Yeah?
So you don't need to open the door to the police without a warrant.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what it was all about initially, so I thought, no, I'm not opening this door, because they were winding Leo up because of the way they knocked on the door. And
Yeah.
I thought,
Well,
no,
you
I
know
can't
that
let
you
Leo
talk
out
about
like
it,
that,
you know?
because I wouldn't have want Leo going for him,
Yeah.
because he was protecting me.
Sorry to interject, but yeah, you're right,
That's right.
Biggs. I personally wouldn't answer the door to the police or the Garda. If they have a warrant, let them kick it in. But if I had to, address them or find out what they wanted, I try and go to a window that was elevated, like on a higher level. You
I
know, I would go.
actually live in a bungalow, so that wouldn't happen for me. But
Uh, I,
already twice this year they've broken my door in for no reason. So I thought,
they've
no,
actually kicked it in.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had to wait. It was well over a week for them to come and fix my door. It's fucking ridiculous. They opened my Amazon parcels outside, and it was all over the place. I went freaking crazy, and that was down to my local authority. doing all of that. And then when I spoke to police and said, you know, what are you going to do about my door? And he said, it wasn't us that did it. I said, well, yes, it was. You're the one that physically done it. He goes, well, it wasn't down to us. I said, well, what do you mean by that? And they said, speak to your local authority about it. And I'm like, I'll pass in the buck.
Yeah, taking orders. That's all they do. Is just take orders.
So now I'm like, no, I'm a lot more cautious whenever they come. I shouldn't have to be like that, but it's the fact they know I have PTSD because it's all in the records. Because I found that out through my therapist, because she actually contacted the police to find out why I know if they keep on doing this to me, because it's not making me any better.
Yeah.
And
Vix,
that they won't give her a straight answer. Yes, darling.
Oh,
sorry to intrude again or interrupt you.
That's right.
Have you been making like notes or documenting these incidents?
Yes.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, do you have CCTV at your property?
No, I don't. But I'm looking into that because I'm going to be moving within the next couple of months anyway. Well, after my treatment's finished, I'm going up north. So I was sort of like thinking, well, should I just leave it till then?
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to break in here when I have my dog here. They'd be pretty fucking stupid to do that, excuse my language, because ever since my assault, he's got very protective, especially when it's to do with men, and they were male coppers, so that's why he was growling to say they're not coming in here. I read in his language, and I'm like, no, if I saw open that door, he would go.
Mm.
And then I wouldn't want to give the cops a reason, you know?
Yes,
even though he's only being protective, so
basically he's doing what comes to him naturally.
Yeah.
But
you know.
But this is another thing as well, that they also know I've got a panic box. So if I needed them, or I needed an ambulance or anything, I could obviously you use my phone or press the button. Or if I was unconscious or whatever and Leo didn't like the situation, he presses my alarm and gets them here. That they also have the code to get into my safe to open the door. So they do not have any reason to hammer my door down like that. No reason at all. That's what pisses me off when they're like that, because the actual last time that they broke in the door was that the policeman he looked through my actual window, and so I was like as white as a sheet and shaking because I could hear him talking to the other officer, and then the sergeant came up, and that's when they all backed off. And basically left the council to it, because they had no reason to be there, and they knew it too.
I hate to use this terminology because obviously not all police officers are bad, but scumbags.
Well, no, the reason being the actual sergeant that came up here has spoken to me on 2 prior occasions, so he knows that I am quite reasonable when it comes to things like that. So when he turned up, I think he was the one that said, come away from here now, leave her alone, type of thing, because yeah. Because he's been at the police station when I've gone in there, when I've had seizures and that, so he knows me from that point, and he knows my dog as well, so he knows full well if I needed help, I would get help here. I'm not an idiot, and they know that too, so that's another reason why I think they sent that sergeant here, or he came on his own accord. Because he knew damn well that I can lose my rag pretty easily when it comes to things like that. But none of them, though, told me that my door was broken. I found that on my own, which is a bit out of order.
It is not only out of order, but then to leave it for like that for, I believe you said it was a week.
It was over a week, yeah.
Yeah,
And I was calling them every day to come and fix it. I basically said to them, look, if it's not fixed by today, I'm going to prosecute. And they actually came within 20 minutes and fixed it.
Well, that's you know, like, believe it or not, I can't remember who said it earlier, but I know what I'm about to say was said earlier, but that's where you gotta hit them sometimes, is in the pocket, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wouldn't look very good, would it, if it was known to a lot of people that they left a vulnerable woman that lives on her own, that has PTSD, that's been attacked and stalked, without a door that works properly. And that isn't just good at all to do that. And that would have been the council and the cops that would have got both barrels for that. I'm sure a judge would have agreed if I'd have taken that to court.
Of course, and I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I'm sure. Maybe still, even, you know, it's obviously, what I mean is, like, you could have probably got compensation, or maybe you're still could be entitled compensation.
Oh yeah, I probably could, but when I sort out that part of things, like with the local authority and the cops, I'm going to do it all in one go. I'm not going to do it separately because it would just do my head in. But one way or another, they are going to pay for it. But I don't want them to be doing it. I want them to learn from it and to not do it to other people. Because the way my case was handled was terrible. And now my therapist and that are getting involved. I've got an advocate and everything on my side in regards to that. So I won't have to do the work myself. They will.
Yeah,
so it's less for me, you know. But to be stalked for 6 months... And like I said, the guy still lives around here. No, that's what was worrying me the most. I mean, yeah, I could have used my back door, but I shouldn't have had to have done that either. Really,
you shouldn't have to. You know. I'm sorry to interject. Like,
no.
I don't know the full.
No, I mean, I've spoken a little bit about it, but obviously, you know, if I spoke to you, I mean, I can sort of like say a lot more. I will not like put everything out what happened online, because that'd be pretty stupid. But people know all they need to know. But even the people that I thought that I could trust, because I thought I knew them quite well, like, shown their true colour. So I'm a little bit more cautious now. Which you haven't spoken to these people yet, so and I don't think you will, because I won't have them on my channel. Not anymore.
No, but what I meant by is I understand by people showing their true colors, you know, and confiding in a person and them breaking your trust, you know.
I think now I found a good group of people, like in regards to Ginger, Tonkin, Marshall, even the other Marshall that, you know, I get on with him quite well. Yourself, a few of the other Irish guys, you know, I'm sort of like, it's a smaller group of people, but like Bud and KY I can trust. But it's like building up that trust, and I think you can tell people if they're going to be good or bad to by pretty much what they don't say.
Yeah.
I've known Tonkin for quite a while. He's seen me in person.
Yeah,
He's actually seen me DJing before. Yeah,
I've seen her when she's DJing in the clubs. down in Brighton.
And I say it's only been the one time, but he remembered it. So
No, I think I went to about 4 or 5 of your sets over the years.
that would have been well like low key then in that case, because I've only done like one major one, but the others have been low key. So
Yeah,
what I consider low key anyway.
yeah, no, it was just I think one was actually, it wasn't in the club. I think it was more or less a bar sort of thing. I went into and saw you. You was real close to the audience and that.
You remember that? Bloody hell!
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I think that was one of the
Yeah.
first. I think that was one of the second or third time I saw you.
Well, but people tend to like notice me because of the fact that I'm female, obviously.
Yeah.
But female DJs, people don't tend to notice. But because of my height as well, it's
Yeah,
quite
exactly.
difficult sometimes with certain the way they set up equipment, because I'm not that tall. So I literally have to like stand on tiptoe or
Yeah,
or
exactly.
get like a stool or something to stand on. So I can. But no, it's all good. I mean, the actual guys think it's hilariously funny because they're all like 6 foot and that. You
Oh yeah, it
cheeky
was.
bits.
And as well, the audience. I used to, me and mates used to just be mesmerised and find it funny. You know, like the way you was like on tiptoes and then, but still going to the music as well. You know.
Oh, of course. But
Yeah.
this is the thing. A lot of people on YouTube sort of like doubt that I can actually do these things, but I say, "Oh, fucking shut up," because I don't doubt my skills at all. I know what I'm doing with a set of decks, and that's all there is to it. Obviously, when I do live sets, when I'm obviously going a different platform or on a different channel, it'd be different. But yeah, it'd be good.
No, because I can't remember the DJ, but I think I saw. It was after a set you did with. There was
I
another
actually
DJ there.
think one of them was back to back with my husband at the time. That could have been. I went back to back with two different people. One was my husband, and another one was a good friend of mine. So I don't know which one, or it could have been both. I do not know, but it was a while ago now.
Yeah, a long while ago. Yeah.
But no, it never leaves you, and like I said, I want to be able to teach kids and keep them out of trouble. But then again, I'm going to think about arranging some night, depending what the new COVID rules are and that about. But I'd like to do outside events rather than inside, because I think it'd be better for people to go outside and appreciate nature and that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys are still on. I can't believe I woke up.
Oh well,
Well,
I
you know,
did.
DJ.
I did say to yeah, I did have good ratings yesterday. This is the thing. Normally when I go live on my, I know it sounds bad to say, but normally when I go live on my own, a lot more people watch. And some of the things, some of the guys were typing in the chat saying, "Oh, don't let the Americans take over your panel," and that. And I thought that's a bit rude.
Why would they say something like that? We welcome the Brits. Why do they want to kick us out?
No, I think they just wanted for it to
cause
be
drama.
like.
Yeah.
No. I don't think it was even to cause drama. I just think that they just wanted, it to be like me engaging with them, because I haven't done it in a while on my own. Which is true. I don't think it was like intentionally harmful, because they're not that kind of people. But I was just surprised at the statement. But then God bless the UK came in, which he's a good friend, so it sort of balanced itself out. But it was an alright panel last night. I think people enjoyed it, and I'm going to be doing a lot more things that cover different subjects, because maybe on the 15th I will do something that would, because it was the day that my friend did what he did. I think it'd be good to cover that, but do it in a way where it's not so dark. But a lot of people out there are feeling that way.
Yeah, well, especially what's been happening for nearly 2 years, you know. Yeah.
Well, actually, people have lost their jobs. A lot of people are financially destitute as well, and they feel they've got nowhere to turn. And then they feel the only way they can turn is by doing a final act, which isn't the case. And that's what part of yesterday was about, but it didn't exactly go that way because it started turning into a religion and political rant. And I'm like, no, this isn't what this was about. But by then it sort of went a little bit left field, but it's okay. Panels do that sometimes, don't they? But hopefully, when I do take the channel in a slightly different direction, it will stop all of that. So I'm going to be going out a lot more and doing a lot more recording outside, and especially when I get that camera for Leo as well, having Leo cam on. I think that would, because he's so cheeky and goofy when he's outside. I think that would cheer people up to see what a goofball he actually is.
Yeah.
Which would be good. I was going to say, Ginger, what has your landlord said about your fridge then? Because you were saying in chat that. What do you mean he's still looking? I mean, by now he should have at least made inquiries and put in an order in or something, because that's going to take weeks for that to get to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a hard thing. I mean, it's like Candice was saying a little bit ago in the chat that fridges are very hard to come by and they're very expensive. But that's the reason why they are stalling it, that they can hike the prices up. A lot of people are doing that right now with a lot of products, like especially food and that. Kelly, get your head out of there. She can smell food in my bag, which I haven't eaten yet, which I'm not going to. I'm just drinking my drink at the moment. But Wrights is saying, "Oh, Ginger, don't forget to look at your side door on Tuesday." Or on Tuesday. I think that's when the parcel's going to get to you.
Okay, will do.
I can't believe how much trouble Wrights had with doing that for you, though. I mean, why do they make things so damn difficult?
Why? What happened?
Well, no, I mean, he said he was going to send something to Canada, and this is what he told me anyway. He said he's going to send something to Canada, and they said that that's perfectly okay, and he was starting to sort it all out, and then the price was hiked up all of a sudden. I mean, Wrights will tell you this himself. It's pretty bad.
Oh no.
Wrights is also saying if she can get someone mechanical, I could help her out on her refrigerator.
Yeah.
But it's getting the parts for it right, and it's not down to her, it's down to her landlord to be sorting this out, not Ginger. And I'm sure his landlord knows mechanical people, because I'm sure he has other properties, or it shouldn't be down to Ginger to be worrying about this, not with everything else she's got going on, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's out of bloody order. I think it is.
Yeah.
How much sleep did you get anyway? Ginger.
Ginger,
What
she said
sleep did you get?
you had 2 hours.
2 hours is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's that's because she woke up with that nightmare, you know.
No, I understand those all right.
Yeah.
That actually hasn't happened in a real bad way for me for a little while. Mind you, I'm not exactly sleeping enough for it to happen, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, that might be actually a good thing for you, you know, if you only get like a few hours sleep at a time, but at regular intervals.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
it isn't though, because
Mm.
it's like I was trying to explain to these guys because of the because of this head cold and being really congested, and I can't get rid of it. It's making my breathing difficult,
Yeah, so it's hard
and
for you
it's
to
making me really more heady than normal, which is triggering my light sensitivity, and it's making my seizures worse. So it's actually having a detrimental effect on my body. I'd rather be out of sleep for 6 hours or so and be rested to a degree rather than it being half hour here, half hour there. That's no way to sleep,
Yeah. DJ,
especially being on my epilepsy meds.
yeah, it's, you know what? It's a shame. It's a shame that you can't like learn Braille. You know, so you can get a Braille keyboard and a Braille reader, and also you can actually run StreamYards with your eyes closed, like when you DJ. That'd be a good skill to learn. You know, and get used to. Just just to just
Well,
to
yeah, because I do mix with my eyes closed. After all, yeah, you are right.
yeah. And I bet you still have a lot of sensitivity in your fingertips now, so you'll be able to pick up
Oh, of
Braille.
course.
Yeah. What? I'm just saying.
No. It's actually true. So it's one of them things, isn't it?